Well, joining us now, Tannistha Datta. She's a child protection specialist with UNICEF India. Tannistha, the first thing, one of the unintended consequences of the lockdown was the many silent pandemics that it's triggered for some of our most vulnerable, our children. Now, these are the less visible consequences, as we've been saying, but they affect children massively. Could you tell us, give us a few examples, tell us about how this is very much the case?
There is no doubt now that the COVID-19 crisis has actually transformed into a child rights crisis. Children and young people are going to see the impact of this pandemic in various ways. And unless we are able to respond to this now, I think the long-term consequences will be tremendous. The very measures that are put in place to control a pandemic like this, the lockdown, the closure of services, the restriction of movement, are also the exact same things that are triggering this crisis even more. So we are seeing increases in child labor, marriage, increase in violence against children, mental health stress of children. The thing about child protection is that unlike many other issues, it is not unidimensional. The deprivations are multiple, and sometimes the deprivations are all happening to the same child. For example, the girl who's living on the street, who's being maybe abused sexually by somebody, is also working to survive on the street, is also at risk for being trafficked for sexual exploitation maybe. So all these layers adding up and the reach of services being restrained, it has created this whole concoction of what we are calling the shadow pandemic.
Absolutely. Tannistha, what difference will the funds raised in the show make to children?
UNICEF India has been at the forefront in responding to this child protection crisis, or the shadow pandemic as we are calling it. In the last 8 months, we have been able to train more than 150,000 frontline child protection workers and service providers on COVID risk mitigation strategies and their roles in preventing violence, exploitation and abuse of children. We have been able to support 11,000 functionaries of Childline with PPE kits so that they could act safely as the frontline responders during the lockdown. We have also reached almost 4 lakh or 400,000 children and their families with psychosocial support in partnership with Childline and NIMHANS, and about 2 million adolescents with messages on COVID risk mitigation. We've also been able to reach out to more than 5,000 children who are in the alternate system without adequate family care, with additional protection services to maintain their safety net. And we would like to use the funds that we are able to generate through the support of everyone here today to redouble, or triple, or amplify our efforts to be able to reach the most vulnerable child and to create a safety net for children that prevents them from any risk of further harm, abuse or exploitation. So thank you so much for your support.